I never thought that I would ever meet someone like him. It was summer and I was 18. Then we saw someone's house. It was our two main lead. Then some unknown person tries to say hi to someone. It was our main lead, but his face turned red like a tomato. Then, looking at this person's body, he thinks I fell in love at first sight. So let's get back to a few hours ago. This is our main lead. His name is you man, but I'll call him you. So are you was thinking that my name is you main? Ever since I injured my head when I was 10, I've had a special powers. The doctors called it synesthesia. I can see people's emotions. Right now, someone was crying. She was a friend of you's. She was saying, he's so handsome, but his member is so small. Well, yep. She was talking about his duck on bed. Then you was thinking, I can see Sunru's mood value. The data appears visually and is even color-coded. It took a while to understand the emotions behind the colors. Black means fear, red is anger, green means embarrassment, blue means sadness, and yellow signifies lust. Then Sun yelled at you saying, are you even listening? And from now on I'll call her Sun. Then you says, don't be sad. Your feelings for him aren't that strong anyway. Just find a new guy. Then she tells you, easy for you to say. Then Sun cry a lot saying, why can't I get a good guy? Then you thinks, I guess it's a big deal to her. Then she suddenly stopped crying, saying hold the phone, making you confused. Then she asks you, why don't you become my boyfriend? But then you rejects her immediately. She cry and asked why. Then you tell her that you'd still be disappointed. I'm not particularly well endowed. Then Sun cried and said, oh, heavenly Lord above, why are you letting this happen to me? Making you laugh. Then a car stops in front of their neighborhood. Then Sun says, oh my God, so handsome. Then you also take a peek at him. Then Sun says, I guarantee, he's absolutely massive. And yes, she's talking about his duck. You didn't say anything, but his cheeks turn red. He's so handsome. He's even better looking than all my exes combined. Then he asked Sun, why don't you go say hi? Grandpa said he's a bachelor. Then she said, I know a 10 like him is way out of my league. I'm not pretty, and I'm not talented. All I can do is admire from afar. Then you says, you're exaggerating. But before he could complete his sentence, Sun says he's looking over here. After you take a closer look at that guy, aka, are another main lead, you start blushing pink. His heart start beating faster and faster. He drops his popsicle stick. Then he puts his hands on his chest, thinking, what's going on? My heart is racing. Then Sun says all girls on this island want him. You have no idea how popular his bookstore is. Then Sun asked you, did you see that wind chime at his door? Then you said yes. Why? Then she gets closer to you and says, I heard that. It's a sign. He removes it. If there's a woman in there, that way, people won't disturb them when they know there's a guest. Then he looks sad and thinks, does he have a lot of girls over? And in that wind chime was written, after the rain freshens the empty hills, the autumnal dusk deepens the chills. Then at night you was at his room. Suddenly the power goes out and like a scared cat you complained to his grandpa and his grandpa told him that the fuse blew out. Then his grandpa said, Mayan, we don't have any spares left. Go ask the neighbor if they have any. Then you ask his grandpa to be careful. He'll be right back. Then you was outside of our another main lead's house thinking, why am I getting so nervous? Then he tells himself, don't be nervous. You're just here to borrow a fuse. And ring the doorbell. Then he opens the door and asks, who are you? The kid from next door. You tried not to look at him because you turned red. You tried to say hi. After that, you tells him that I'm from the next door. But I'm not a kid. I'm 18, and I'll be 19 in 2 months. He says that because our second lead called him kid. Then he asked you, and how may I help you? And you told him that the power went out at our place. We think it's the fuse. Do you have spares that you could lend us? After thinking for a while, our second lead said a fuse? I might have something. I'll have to go look. By the way, we still don't know his name, so I'll call him second lead for some time. He told you that don't just stand there. Come on in. When he gets in, you bumped into a stack of books. After he saw that a lot of stacks of books and floor, his eyes start shining. You said, wow, you have so many books. Then he start begging to our second lead saying, can I take a look? I promise I'll be careful. And he said, sure, wait here, I'll be back. That makes you really happy? He said, okay. He starts reading the comics. You was really happy. He said, wow, I've been looking everywhere for this comic. But then someone starts shouting, Shan, come quick. I'm losing. Help me. It was that little girl. You took a peek inside and saw her. He start thinking it's that girl. Is she his daughter? He saw the game she was playing. He thinks Mario? Looks like the game is still popular even now. Then she shout, no, no. I'm going to lose again. You sits next to her and said you have to jump and stomp on its head to defeat it. She gave you the controller. Then you help her play the game. And then they win the game. She was really happy. She said, woo, you're amazing. I finally beat this level. But something took his attention. He thinks, is that a prosthetic? But she's so young. Then our second lead comes in the room, taking Yu's attention, and tells Kia to put the console away. Kia, it's time for bedtime. So for now on, I'll call this kid Kia. After that he told you, I found the fuse. But you looked at his body and thinks, oh, he's clothed now. Why do I feel a little disappointed? You said thanks, and tried to took the fuse. But Shan didn't gave you the fuse. And from now on, I'll call him Shan. You was shocked, thinking, why? But Shan asked, do you know how to use it? And got closer to you. Then you think he's so close. And you took a look at his emotion bar. And I'll call this think on his head emotion bar. Okay? After taking a look at his emotion bar, he thinks, is he trying to flirt with me? But his mood value didn't go up. I must be reading into it too much. You tell Shan that I don't. But my grandpa does. But inside he thinks, what am I thinking? He has a daughter. Shan told Kia, let's go to the house of grandpa who sells herbal eggs. Kia was really happy and said, I love that grandpa. Then she puts on her leg, making you a little surprise. Shan told you, come on, I'll go help. Kia hold you's hand and said, let's go find that grandpa. Then you told Shan, that'll be a big help. Then someone made a shadow rabbit. It was you's grandpa. He was playing with Kia. He ached her look. Kia, what is that? And she was really happy. She said, it's a rabbit. You told Shan, I'll help you with light. But he was looking at Shan. By looking at Shan, Yu's heartbeat was getting faster and faster. Then Yu introduced himself. He said, I'm Yu Main. What's yours? And Shan said, I'm Yan Kong Shan. After that, Yu thinks Kia's full name is Yan Wonk Yu. After that we saw that wind chime again. In there was written after, the rain freshens, the empty hills, the autumnal dusk deepens, the chills. Then Yu thinks, so this is what the verse under the wind chime meant. Yu was helping Shan. When he realized he was shorter than Shan, he thinks he's so tall. He thinks it seems nice to be tall. I want to be tall too. Starting from tomorrow, I'll drink milk every day and wake up early for a morning run. Thinking that way, Grandpa won't call me a sleepyhead either. He was so lost in thought that he pointed torch in wrong direction. Then Shan asked for light. After realizing his mistake, Yu got shy. Then Shan fixed the light and told you it's done. After that Shan said, the wiring in this building is dangerous. It's too old for high-power electrical appliances. You should ask the adults to call the electrician to have a look. Then you said, okay, but I'm not a kid. Then he thinks, geez, can't he stop mentioning adults? It's not like he's much older than me. Shan replied by saying, alrighty, we'll be on our way. Call for me if you need anything. He told his daughter that Kia time to go home. Kia said coming and told Yus, Grandpa, you should watch Love Revolution. It's so much better than the show you're watching. Then Yu's grandpa said, thanks for coming to Shan. After they left, Yu realized he haven't thanked him yet. Getting embarrassed over that, he quickly picks up 2 apples, thinking Grandpa thanked him. But I haven't. I should thank him personally. When he runs after them, his grandpa asked him, where are you going? And Yu said, I'm going to thank them. He runs as fast as he could so he could catch up to them. After that, Yu stopped Shan saying wait up, making Shan confused. Then Yu said, thanks for coming. This is a gift. I mean, this is a thank you gift. After saying that, Yu realized, what am I doing? Who would give apples as gifts? But Shan took those apples and said, no problem. Kia asked, can I have an apple? Shan agreed, but told her that she have to brush her teeth. Then they left, but Yu was still blushing. Then he said, I should have given them cola instead. Nobody would turn that down. After that, you think? Does he think I'm a low-class peasant now? But someone was coming towards you. Then Yu cheers himself up, thinking it's not a big deal. Don't worry, Mayan. Then Yu saw his auntie and start doing exercise. After that he greet his aunt, saying, "Hey, Annie, walking the dog this late? It's so hot, I couldn't sleep. So I'm out here doing some exercise." But his aunt puts her hand on his shoulder and says, "You should go back. Your grandpa will be worried. Try drinking a glass of milk if you can't fall asleep." She continues by saying, "I heard from your grandpa that you're going to stay here. That's good. He'll have company. Your grandpa has always welcomed you." There was a rose in his hand. "Where did this rose come from?" "I don't know." Then she said, "You don't have to worry." You reply by saying, "I know it feels like home here." Then he thinks, "I've seen enough true colors of people since I got synesthesia." His mom was fighting with his dad, saying, "You've never once cared for our son. All you do is work." I had a feeling that mom and dad's marriage wouldn't last. Everything happened as I had expected. They divorced. Mom found a new partner. I didn't want to be a third wheel, so I told them I wanted to stay with Grandpa. But his mom said, "Your room is here, Maine." No matter how hard mom begged me to stay verbally, the mood value above her head showed me. But his mom told him, "There's plenty of space here. You don't have to go." She was happy. Then you think, sometimes I hate having synesthesia. I get to see people's true colors. After that, he stands in front of his grandpa's house thinking, "Fortunately for me, Grandpa is truly glad I'm here." Next day, Son was taking you somewhere, but you asked her, "Where are you taking me? How long is it going to take?" But Son said, "We're almost there." Then you confusedly said, "Bookstore," and asked her, "Since when did you enjoy reading?" Son said, "What do you mean? I've always loved reading." But you give her the side-eye look and said, "Oh, really?" making her nervous. Then she told him the truth. "Fine, I'll admit it. I kind of like a guy in there." And you said you could say that before. Son told you, "Why don't you go look for some books?" After that, she goes to talk to the counter boy, asking if he had the book she's looking for. With a smirk in his face, you thinks, what did this handsome little thing do to attract Son? When you looks at that guy, he saw his emotion bar was normal. He thinks a 75, but neither yellow nor pink. I guess Son Rui has a long way to go. You goes to look for some books. Then he thinks there are many books stacked on both sides of the stairs. Did these premises even pass the fire safety inspection? Kongshan's house was also filled with books. After that, he thinks Son mentioned something about him owning a bookstore on this island. After that, he noticed the book he wanted. He thinks it's the book I've been looking for. He tried to reach the book, but used too short for that. Then he annoyedly thinks, do they think short people don't read? Almost got it. But someone taller than him said, "I'll help you," and helped him. Of course it was Shan. When you saw him, he said, "It's you." And Shan said, "It's me." After that, Shan give the book to you. You thanked Shan and asked him if it's his bookstore. Shan said yes and asked him, "Are you here with your girlfriend?" But you said no, she's my childhood friend. She has a crush on your clerk down there. Then Shan said, "Is that so? He's a real ladies' man. He has tons of admirers. Your childhood friend will need to step things up." You said, "I see. I'll pass on the message." But then Sun came and said it's time to go, making you a little surprise. You told Shan, "I'll be leaving now. Bye." Then Shan said, "See you soon." In a cafe, you and Sun was talking. Sun said, "I still can't find the book I want. How sad." But her emotion bar was pink. You noticed that, and said you say you're sad, but you look ecstatic. Do all girls talk this way? Making Sun blush. To change the topic, Sun said, "You don't understand." Then you said, "Yeah, I don't understand." Sun asked you, "Are you a virgin?" Taking you by surprise, making him choke on his drink. You cover his body and said, "What are you planning to do?" But Sun said, "Why are you backing up? I'm just curious. Did you have a crush on anyone in high school? I mean, you're so good looking. It'll be a waste if you don't enjoy a passionate relationship." With a sad expression in his face, he said, "A relationship?" Then you think about his past. From the background, you says, "Well, a girl confessed her love to me when I was a freshman, but I rejected her because of my sexuality. In my sophomore year, I mistook the pink value above Fuwei's head as feelings for me, so I hinted to. He avoided me like the plague and told people that I was a pervert. Everyone avoided me after that. I was isolated, and so was my road to having relationships." You told Sun, "I don't think it's a waste. We're students. Our job is to study. Plus, how can you be so sure that I won't find someone this summer?" Sun said, "Fair enough. Maybe you'll have a lovely encounter." You said, "A lovely encounter?" Then you immediately thought about Shan. He blushed like a tomato. When you looked at the mirror, he saw his emotion bar was pink, making him flinch. He rubbed his eyes. Then he saw his emotion bar was normal. He got relieved and said, "That's more like it." You thinks, "How could I fall for someone I just meet? I've always believed love will come with time." He looks again in the mirror and thinks, "See, there's nothing up." But he got surprised. When he saw his emotion, Bari said it turned yellow. Then at Yu's house, he was blushing, thinking, "How can this be?" He thinks, "Did I fall for Yan Kongshan at first sight?" But someone was ringing Shan's doorbell. Yu go out in his balcony and saw a girl asking Shan no. Shan shake his head like a no. After that, she looks really sad. Then you think, did he just rejected her? She left from there and Shan light his cigarette. But then Shan noticed you. Because of that you got scared and flinch. He said hi to Shan. Shan asked you, "It's late. Why aren't you in bed?" You said it's too hot to sleep. Then he asked, "Why are you not sleeping?" Shan said, "Same reason. So I came out for some air." Then Shan said, "It's getting late. I'm gonna go back inside. You should go to bed, kid." And that kid word hit you like a arrow. You thins, I'm not a kid. In Green Plum Island it was meteor showering. You took a picture of that and post the picture in his Weibo. You was scrolling through his ID. His phone was buzzing like a bee because of notifications. Then he read all of the comments on the picture he posted. Oh, and I just remember you can also comment on my video because I love reading all of your comments. You puts away his phone and thinks, my social life basically moved online when I got synesthesia. Sometimes I post a feed to make myself feel better. I'm more comfortable taking my social life online, as I don't have to meet the people behind the screen in person. I don't have to worry if they are duplicitous or insincere. Then you fall asleep. Next day you wakes up and rubs his eyes. But when he opened his eyes he flinched because Kia was in his house. He asked, "Why are you here?" Kia said, "I don't have school on weekend." You asked again, "Where's your dad?" Kia said Shan went to the city to buy restock. He couldn't bring me along, so he left me here. And you sit next to her. Then his grandpa come in the room and said, "I'm running the stall today, so keep an eye on Kia." You asked what? And his grandpa said, "It's summer vacation. Many tourists will be coming. Business is booming for herbal eggs." Then you asked Kia, "Do you want to read comics?" Kia said, "I don't know how to read." You said, "Let's watch some TV then." But she said SpongeBob is over for today. You asked, "Then what do you want to do?" Kia smiles because her plan was success. She said, "Let's play Mario at my place." At her place, she was saying, "I can't dodge it." Then you said, "Why don't we?" But before he could complete his sentence Shan came. When you looked at his face he start blushing. Shan asked you, "Are you guys playing video games?" You said yes. But he was blushing red. He clenched his hands on his chest, thinking, "Calm down you, otherwise, he'll think you're a pervert. After all, he's our neighbor." But then Kia said, "Shan, I can't get through this level. Help me." Then Shan asked, "Why are you so caught up in video games?" And Kia said, "I'm a kid. This is what kids do." And Shan said, "I was wondering why you didn't want to come with me and sit next to you, making you blush more." He continues by saying, "Turns out you wanted to play video games with him." Well, and Kia said, "You never want to play with me. It's more fun to have another player." Then they start playing, and you thinks just sitting next to him is making me nervous. I have to sit up straight and proper, so that I don't leave a bad impression. This is too much. After some time, they win the game, making Kia really happy. Then she leaves by saying, "I can finally use the toilet. I've been holding it in for so long." After she leaves you, asked Shan, "I heard you went to the city to restock." And Shan said, "Yeah, there's a Confucian temple there. There are a lot of second-hand booksellers there, so I often get my books there." You looked really nervous. He said, "That sounds interesting." But Shan's emotion bar number was getting lower and lower. That make you think he seems to be in a bad mood. Did something unpleasant happen? After that, Shan asked him, "Are you feeling hot?" And that takes you by surprise. You said, "Maybe it's the heat. I'm still not used to summer temperatures here." And Shan asked, "You're not from here then?" You said, "Not really. I'd been in Rainbow Town up until I was 13. The summers there were not as hot as they are here." Shan asked, "Are you planning to have a longer stay here?" And gave him cola. Then you said, "Yeah, Grandpa is all alone here. and I've just finished my college entrance exam. I want to stay with him. So I decided to move in since it's summer vacation. And then you couldn't open cola can and thinks it's so slippery. I can't get it open. But Shan took the can from Yu's hands and opened that with one hand. Yu was really impressed with that. His eyes was shining. Shan, give him cola. But Yu was blushing. Yu was really red and asked Shan, can I come to your house every day? Then he starts making excuses. He said, you have so many books here that I want to read. Also, my house doesn't have air conditioning. It's too hot there. And Shan agreed with him. But Shan said, but I'm only home at night. Could you come after 8 o'clock? Yu said, sure. But then he remembered about last night's scene. And Yu asked, but won't I be a bother? Shan confusedly looked at him. Then Yu said, I mean, the wind chime. Then Shan looked at him and said, don't worry. I'm not in the mood these days. But I'm surprised. You know quite a bit. Yu nervously tried to clarify himself, but Kia came at that moment, and Yu was relieved. Then Yu got up and said, my grandpa will be home soon. I should get going. Kia was sad that Yu will leave. You pets? Kia and said yeah, it's almost dinner time. Then Kia said yes, dinner is important. Go on then, we'll beat them next time. Yu happily said okay. When Yu was leaving, Shan was seeing Yu off. And Yu was thinking I shouldn't have brought that up. We're not even that close. It was inappropriate for me to say that. But then Shan stops. Yu looked at him for some time. After that he said bye and he was leaving. But Shan said see you tonight. When he heard that, he immediately looked at Shan. Shan was smiling at him and his emotion bar was normal. Yu thinks his mood value has returned to normal. Did he forgive me then? Yu said see you tonight. Then at night, Yu was at Shan's house. He was thinking good. His mood value is up to a safe number. Then he asked Shan, by the way, my childhood friend wants to know the type of girls your salesperson is into, and thinks this should be a safe topic, right? Shan asked, are you talking about Wen Ying? I don't know his type, but I'll ask him for you tomorrow. After that, they stopped talking, and Yu was thinking, it's getting awkward again. I need to find more things to talk about. So Yu asked Shan, do you need manpower? I can help out in your bookstore. When Shan heard that, he stopped reading and asked you want to help out in my bookstore. You can also help me by subscribing. Shan asked you want to help out in my bookstore? Yu, with a puppy dog eyes, looked at Shan and asked yes. Is that possible? Shan was happy. We can see that in his emotion bar. But he said you'll have to leave home at 8 o'clock every morning. Can you do it? Yu said no problem. Shan asked, do you know how to organize shelves? What about serving the customers? Yu immediately said, I can learn. Then Shan said no salary and no off days, even when you're tired. Are you okay with that? Yu told Shan, no problem. Happy with his answer, Shan said you can join from tomorrow. He was really happy. Then he said, thank you. I'll do my best. Next day someone was telling us about Green Plum Island and Shan's bookstore. He was saying, Green Plum Island is well known for its green gage, also known as green plums. Now that it's green gage season, it's also tourist season. The Weather Secondhand Bookstore. The South Street where the Weather Secondhand Bookstore is situated is the only commercial pedestrian street on the island. It's a hot spot for tourists and young people. Then Yu was working in front of the bookstore and Sun saw him. She stopped in front of him then. When Yu saw her, he asked, are you helping your dad sell apples again? She said yeah. What are you doing here? Yu said I'm working. Sun said working? I didn't know that someone as lazy as you would get a job. Are they still hiring? I want to join you. But Yu stopped her and said, come on now. Aren't you supposed to patrol your father's orchard? You won't have the time for another job. He talks about his past. When he was a kid and he worked at her father's farm, he said I still remember the catchphrase of the patrol team I joined when I was a kid. It was, those who steal go to jail. She said, I want to work with Wen Ying too. Then we can be together in the small, cramped storage room filled with clutter and do what we want. Yu saw that her emotion bar was yellow. He immediately shook her and said, stop it. Let's stop this silly talk. You have apples to sell. And turn her face at apples. She said this year's harvest was great, but my charm doesn't help much in selling these apples. And ask you that we're bestie, right? Why don't you buy them all? He asked her. How could I ever finish that many apples? Just give me 6. She said all right. Remember to give my Wen Ying, okay? Tell Wen Ying how pure, simple, and kind I am. Then Yu said, I got it. Now go sell those apples. When asked, you went out for a bit, and you returned with apples. You said, do you want one? They're from Sunrua's family orchard. They're sweet. Wen said, did she come by just now? I found the book she's been looking for. I was wondering when she'd come by again. You said she left. What's the book she had you find? And he show him the book. After seeing the book, you think Sun you already revealed your true colors to him. In staff lounge, you was thinking Shan isn't here. Is he still stock taking in the stockroom? Then you knock at the door and ask Shan, boss, do you need any help? Shan said, go check the stocks on that shelf. And you said Roger. Then you thinks it seems like these books have been here for a while. When he picks up a book, he starts coughing. But then he saw something. He thinks, what is that? It was a mouse. When he saw that, he starts trembling in fear. You drop the book on the mouse by mistake. But Mr. Rat didn't like that. He was mad. You stepped back and said sorry. Then he said, boss, and Shan said, yeah. But before you could say something, that rat ran towards you. He screamed, boss, help me. When Shan confusedly looked at you, he was shocked. You was running towards Shan in full speed and jumped on him. At first, Shan didn't say anything and then he hugged him and said you main. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. Shan said you main. Then you said, there is a mouse. Shan looks around and said, a mouse. I think it's gone. You didn't say anything. He just hugged Shan. Shan told you, can you get off me now? You said sorry and got off Shan and said, sorry, I'm kinda scared of things like that. Then Shan picks up the book and told you, why don't you leave it to me? I can handle it. You said okay. He comes out of that room and think, is he mad at me? When you was working, he heard someone saying, why did you want to come here, Fei? There's nothing to do on this island. When you hear that, he immediately looked outside. Someone said, yeah, there's not even an arcade here. Let's go back to the game center in Rainbow Town and play video games. They are Yu's classmates. Fei said, if you guys want to go back so bad, then go. I want to look around. You think, it's them. Why are they here? He immediately ran in the room where Shan was, and stand in front of Shan. He asked him what happened. Do you know them? But you didn't say anything because he was out of breath because he ran as fast as he can. He said, they are my classmates. Shan asked, do you not like them? Then you said, they're the ones who dislike me. I wasn't very likable when I was in high school. Shan shockingly asked, what's not to like? You said, because I like guys, I'm gay. Then he thinks Fei was my only best friend in high school. We used to get along very well. After that we was Fu and you in high school. Fu gave you a drink and said, here, I bought this for you. You said thanks. I'll buy you one next time. Things changed that day. Fu's emotion bar was pink. When he saw you, he said, morning main. I was at a loss when I saw the pink mood value above his head. It was the first time I'd encountered something like that. I didn't know what to do. So subconsciously, I started giving him the cold shoulder. But Fei wasn't dumb. He noticed it right away. In a corner, he pushed you and asked him, do you have a girlfriend? I saw the color above his head. It was pink with a hint of red from anger. He seemed to really like me. So I decided to ask him about it. Then you asked Fu, do you have feelings for me, Fei? If you do, we can try to make it work. But we could see after Fu here that his anger immediately turned into hate. He said, what are you talking about? I'm not into guys. You pointed at Fu and said, so you're not into me? But your color changed. Fu said you're a freak. After that, he stopped hanging out with me. At the same time, rumors about me having a crush on Fei and him rejecting me started going around the class. At that point, I was completely isolated. Then Shan asked you, so they hate you because you're gay, and you didn't say anything. But I'm telling you guys to subscribe. Shan asked you, they dislike you because of your sexuality. You said yes. Then Shan said, that's good. You confusedly looked at Shan. Shan's emotion bar was normal. He said, it's good that they're not your friends. You're better off without people like that. You asked, but don't you think that I'm disgusting? He said, no. I don't. You blush and thinks he's telling the truth. He was thinking, Sun is right. Conscien's charm has the power to make anyone fall for him. I like him, but I know that he isn't into me. That's okay. You looked at Shan and he was about to take a step, thinking, relationship may be out of reach, but a kiss is possible. But Shan pet his head and said, It really isn't a big deal. You'll get it when you're my age. You hold back his tear and thinks I'm gonna sneeze. Shan told you. Don't cry. They're not worth it. You was thinking, but it'd be inappropriate to sneeze at a time like this. It's best that I hold it back. Then he told Shan, thanks. Actually, I'm not sad about it anymore. It's just that their appearance was so sudden. I didn't know how to react. And inside he was thinking, they're not worth it. But you are. Then Shan told him that you stay here. I'll go check if they're gone. And you said okay. You was hiding behind the door. His classmates were talking really loudly. But then Shan goes there and talks with them. He said, excuse me, could you guys keep it down? But they were still loud. They said, we are not that loud, and another things. Then Shan said, this is a bookstore. Go to a coffee house if you want to have a chat. Please leave if you're not interested in buying any books. And this makes them more angry. They started yelling at him. But Yu's ex-best friend said, we're sorry, and told them let's go and drag them away from there. But they were still yelling at Shan. Then Yu asked Shan, are they gone? And Shan said, yeah, you can come out now. Yu was blushing and thanked Shan. He looked at Yu and said, you sure thank me a lot. Yu said, because you keep helping me out. After he looks at Yu's sweet smile, Shan also smile a little. Then Shan told Yu, come on, let's go eat. And Yu run behind him saying coming. In background, he saw Yu thinking, things between us didn't change much after I told him about everything. He still treats me like he always does. Then in front of Kiwa's kindergarten, Yu was with Shan in his car and said, so this is Kiwa's kindergarten and he thinks I feel comfortable around him. I like it. Then Shan asked, is she out? And Yu said no, not yet. Yu noticed Shan's emotion bar. Yu thinks his mood value turned red. He is mad. Then Yu looked outside and saw someone. He thinks is it because of him. Then Shan told Yu, stay here. I'll be back. Yu was scared thinking he seems very angry. Is he going to pick a fight? Shan looks furious. As for the guy with the glasses, his turned blue, and he leaves from there. Then Yu thinks it's hard to guess what they're talking about without any context. Shan returned to the car and Yu thinks he's back. Shan slammed the door, scaring Yu. Yu with a smile, asked Shan, do you know him? Then he thinks his mood value is decreasing. Yu tried to touch Shan and asked, are you alright? But Shan held his hand. He was shocked. Shan said, don't pry into other people's business, kid. And you guys don't forget to like, subscribe and share.